Welcome to Are You Quizzing Me? I'm Vinit Nair with my co host Aditya Kashyap. This is a quizzing trivia podcast show. Join us as we dive deep into history, science, sport, pop culture, and so much more. Let's get quizzing.
And we're back for episode number 30 of Are You Quizzing Me? Let's get right into the show with the audience question for the day. This question will be answered at the end of the episode, so stay tuned till all the way towards the end and you'll be able to get to know the answer. The question for today for the audience is Lactobacillus delbrueckii, subspecies bulgaricus, is the principal bacteria used to make yogurt and curds. On October 18th, 2012, what designation was given to this bacteria by the Indian government? Let me repeat the question. Lactobacillus delbrueckii, subspecies bulgaricus, is the principal bacteria used to make yogurt and curd. On October 18th, 2012, what designation was given to this bacteria by the Indian government? Wait till the end of the episode for the answer. Now, let's get to the small matter of Aditya's question from last week. Aditya, what was the question and what is your answer?
It is at this point I would like to acknowledge the fact that this is our 30th episode, Vineeth. So, a little milestone. Yeah. So, that's something worth celebrating. And the reason I also point that out is because my answer might just get us cancelled. We might just lose our right to ever make a podcast ever again. It's going to be politically very controversial
Oh god.
because the question was which part of India would we want to give as collateral if we were to ever approach IMF or World Bank for funds. And allegedly, Nehru did that for Kolar Gold Fields, as you mentioned in the previous episode. So I asked which other part of India could we do? And this is so politically incorrect, but I thought Kashmir would be.
Oh sweet Jesus, no. Okay, let me just say that I have nothing to do with this man. I have no idea what we just met on the podcast. That's all I know.
Hey, I love Kashmir. I think it's a beautiful region. The only reason I say this is because it's a very stupid pun on the fact that Kashmir has cash in its
Oh,
name, and hence the joke. It has nothing else to do with anything else.
lead with that next time.
Hey, see, the other alternative was saying Manipur because money, but that
Oh,
also is not a very good choice right now. Unfortunately, it is a very bad choice. So I'm just going with the lesser of the two evils. Yeah.
okay,
Let us
we
let us
joked we've
in,
joked in the past about getting cancelled, but I think this might actually get it done.
I have I have decided that I'm gonna treat this as a last ever episode. So I'm just gonna go all
Oh
out
god.
today.
Oh god. Okay, Aditya. Now that's out of the way and leaving me with a heart attack. Uh, what's your question for the day? Let's start off with something from you.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you a little story. There's this
Ooh.
guy called Curtis who was born in 1975. At the age of 12, he started dealing narcotics when his grandparents thought he was in an after school program. He was caught by metal detectors at his high school. He was also arrested for selling 4 vials of cocaine to an undercover police officer. He was arrested again 3 weeks later when the police searched his home and found heroin, 10 ounces of crack cocaine, and a starting pistol. So it was a tumultuous young life for Curtis. He decided to make a change in his life. How do we know Curtis today as, and why did he choose that name?
Would this person also be famous for having been shot multiple times?
You are, I believe, very, very close to the answer, if not already with the answer, yes.
So I don't know exactly how he's got his moniker. I don't have that, but I believe that this might be Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
Vineet, you blow me away every single time. It is indeed 50 Cent, the rapper. He chose the name 50 Cent, inspired by a Brooklyn robber from the 1980s whose name was Kelvin Martin but went by 50 Cent. However,
Oh,
Curtis Jackson also wanted his name to mean something more than just referencing this particular robber. So he decided that it will be a metaphor for change. Change in both ways. Change in terms of
okay.
money and change in terms of change in life. So that's how 50 Cent chose his own moniker as an artist.
And a
That
very
was a very
successful businessman, if not many people know that. Curtis
yeah,
Jackson's a very successful businessman. Made a lot of his life, even though the start of it may have been tumultuous, as you very eloquently put it.
absolutely. That was a quick crack, Vineet. So let's move on to your question.
Okay. So I am going to ask you a question about a particular individual in the from the first half of the 20th century. X was an advisor, explorer, writer, and intelligence officer. He was educated in Trinity College, Cambridge, and was a friend and classmate of Jawaharlal Nehru. A member of the Indian Civil Service, he converted to Islam in 1930, changed his name to Sheikh Abdullah, and became an advisor to Ibn Saud, urging him to unite the Arabian Peninsula under Saudi rule and helping him to negotiate with the United Kingdom and the United States when petroleum was discovered in 1938. He is remembered in ornithology by the name of a partridge in southwestern Saudi Arabia and northern Yemen. You would probably know his eldest son Y, who was born in Ambala, Punjab in 1912, who was also a very highly infamous character. He has been the subject of numerous novels, both fictional and non fictional. On his death from heart failure in 1988, he was given a hero's funeral and posthumously awarded numerous medals. Who is X and Y? Who are X and Y? Father and son duo. Even if you don't tell me who X is, if you can tell me who Y is, then I will accept that.
Okay, I need to clarify. So, Y was born in 1912, died in 1988, and you also said infamous, but was given a hero's send off during his funeral.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
He's very infamous, very infamous.
I would have definitely heard of the son at least.
Yes. If you okay, here's the thing. If you've read any kind of um, spy novels or espionage novels or anything about the Cold War written in the past 50 years, he's had a lot of impact on that. A lot of characters have
Unfortunately,
been indirectly based on him, and he's also one of the few real life characters who finds places in even fictional novels.
unfortunately, I have not read many novels from that particular era or of that genre.
But there is a chance, at least there's a very good chance you have heard of him.
Okay, based off of the geography itself, was the
Hmm.
son a Sikh? Was he
No,
a Sardar?
no. He was born in Ambala, Punjab.
Right. But his father converted to Islam. So I'm assuming I'm trying to just narrow down potential name types. So am I trying to think of a Muslim sounding name for the son?
No, his son is still known by the original name that his father had given him, his family name.
Right. No, I'm completely lost. I have absolutely no clue who this particular person is.
Okay. The son was is still known by his nickname, which is derived from a Kipling character. One of the Kipling's most famous boy spy characters.
Yeah, wow. I have no idea. None at all.
Okay. Would it help if I gave you a clue and I said that this person, the son, was one of the Cambridge Five?
Again, no. I'm not off to the best start here.
No. This I may. The thing is, this is one of those things where your own biases kind of inform your question. And I have known about this, or I've heard about this, and I read a lot of spy and espionage novels. So it's a little I'm like I keep thinking that everybody knows this stuff. The people I'm talking about, the father is Jack Philby, and the son is Kim Philby.
It sounds very vaguely familiar, but I have no context, so please fill me in.
Okay, so Jack Philby, obviously, I've already given you his history. His son is the one that is really famous. Now, if you've not heard of the Cambridge Five, I will dedicate a small mini episode to the Cambridge Five because it's a fascinating thing. But what you have to understand, in short, is that they were a ring of spies in the United Kingdom who passed on information to the Soviet Union. All of them were recruited at Cambridge University as students. Kim Philby was the most successful of these spies. He was a senior officer in the British Secret Service, also known as MI6, and he went on to serve the KGB for 54 years. He defected to the Soviet Union under the cover of night and then lived out his last few years in the Soviet Union. And when he died, he was given a hero's funeral by the Soviet Union.
Okay, that makes sense. I must say, though, that was a very clever misdirect because I was thinking only Indian names, which is why I asked, is it a Sikh name? Is it a Muslim name? Am I supposed to think of a Hindu name? I did not even consider the fact that it was a British guy. Well done, Vineet. That was a fun question. Okay, since you gave me something that comes very naturally to you and something you are very interested in, let me try to turn the tables on you now. This was going to be my last question for today, but let's push it up the order.
Oh.
Okay. So, Linus Torvalds is a Finnish software engineer. I might be mispronouncing the name. I'll spell it out: Linus, and last name Torvalds. Linus Torvalds is a Finnish software engineer who is the creator of two very, very famous pieces of software.
Hmm.
Both of them are kind of named after him. Could you name the two?
Okay. I know one is Linux, the Linux operating system.
Perfect. So that was the easy part of the question. Do you know what
Part
is
of
the
the
second
question,
one?
yeah. No, not off the top of my head. The moment you said Linus Torvalds, I was like, okay, this is a Linux question. You're not talking about any of the variants of the Linux operating system, right? Not Red Hat or some Ubuntu or nothing like that, right?
Nothing of that sort. No. In fact,
Okay.
it is, if I may describe it, it's a version control system.
It's a version control system.
Yes.
Is this something I would have heard?
In this scenario, I'd have to give you back exactly what you said. Anybody who has
Uh,
done any coding in his life definitely has heard of this, but I'm not
okay.
sure if anybody outside of that field has. I hope they have.
Wait. This is that. Wait. Is this an online website kind of thing? Is this what is it called? What is it called? Where people keep uploading their versions of code, the code that they keep, so that they have a backup. It was,
I think you
uh,
might be close to the answer.
what is it called? Uh, 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 wait, some GitHub. Is that it?
You are very close, so I'll give it to you. Yes. GitHub is actually a platform and cloud based service which
Okay.
uses Git. And Git is what I was actually
Oh.
talking about.
Oh.
Git
Okay. I
is
didn't know
the
that.
distributed version control system that tracks changes in any set of computer files. So it is very useful to track changes, say, if you are developing a website or a phone app, and over time, obviously, you are bringing in new things, new features, you're fixing old errors. It's a good way to keep track of how things have changed over time and if you want to reverse stuff. So anybody who has done any coding uh, would be very familiar with Git and GitHub. Now, how is Git named after him?
Because he was a Git.
Torvalds sarcastically quipped that the name Git, which is British slang for an unpleasant person,
Yes.
refers to the fact that he is an egotistical bastard and names all of his projects after himself. So first was Linux, and now
Okay.
Git. And this is literally a direct quote that I'm putting out there. So yeah, brownie points for self-awareness, I guess, to Linus.
Yes, yes, definitely. Okay, that was a great question. That was a great question. Explorer X is an American travel agency, and they provide a tour package lasting 12 days and 11 nights. This tour retraces a famous route. The highlights of the trip are in the following order: exploring the rolling countryside of Andalusia, exploring Tarifa, a town on the southern coast with stunning views across the Mediterranean Sea to Africa, sailing across the narrow Strait of Gibraltar to Morocco, exploring Tangier, then traveling to Egypt, spending 2 nights at the Fayoum oasis in the Sahara Desert, and a privately guided visit to the pyramids of Giza. What or which famous route does this tour retrace? Let me repeat the question once more so that you can get it right. Explorer X is an American travel agency providing a tour package which lasts 12 days, 11 nights. And this tour retraces a famous route. The highlights of the trip are the following in order: the rolling countryside of Andalusia, followed by Tarifa, then sailing across the narrow Strait of Gibraltar to Morocco, Tangier, then Egypt, 2 nights at the Fayoum oasis in the Sahara Desert, and a privately guided visit to the pyramids at Giza. Which famous route does this tour retrace?
Interesting. I was initially inclined to say Crusade, but I do not believe Crusades took that particular route. None of the
No.
Crusades went via Morocco, if I'm not wrong. Is it a fictional route that you're recreating, like from the world of fiction?
Yes, now you've gotten the important part of the question. Yes, it is a fictional route.
Okay.
Though many people have made the pilgrimage, so to speak, with using the same route.
Oh, sorry. Let me clarify. So even the Explorers X, whatever the tour company
No,
is,
no,
that is
that's an
fictional or
actual that's an actual company.
okay.
That's
Okay.
an actual company providing this actual tour,
Got it.
but it's retracing now, as you have correctly guessed, a fictional route.
This has nothing to do with anything except gut instinct. So it's probably wrong, but I'm just gonna say Tintin. I
No,
don't know why
not
Tintin
Tintin.
comes to mind. Okay,
It's
not
not Tintin. I dare say that more people have read this than have read Tintin.
okay. That is a select
Let me
few.
go and give you a second clue. I would also dare say that more people have heard of this book than most other books.
Which era or when is this book from?
The book is from the 80s, and 1988 would be the exact year of publication. Let me clarify: 88 was its publication in its original language. It was published in English in 93.
Okay, I'm still a bit stuck. So I'll ask you, which what was the original language for this?
I believe it was Portuguese.
Portuguese fictional work that has been translated into English and is so famous that would be considered at par, if not more than Tintin.
Yes, I believe so. Let's just say it's one of those books that people, when you ask them like which is your favorite book, or if you ask, if you go to any kind of bookshop, you know, anywhere in the world, they probably have a copy of this.
What? Maybe then I'm not aware of the fact that this has Portuguese origin because any other type of book I would.
Not many people I think know the fact that this is a Portuguese origin. The author himself is world famous. Trust me, even if you've read the book, this may not click immediately because the book meanders quite a little bit. When I first saw the website of Explorer X and I saw this package, I was also a little surprised, and then it came back to me as I went through it. Oh, okay, yeah, the character does go through all of these things.
Again, I've not read this book, so I have no idea why I'm saying this. Again, gut instinct, probably wrong. Is it
Okay,
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
is almost set almost entirely in space. It's not on Earth.
Yeah, I imagine
If you've
that it
not
would
read it,
be.
by the way, Aditya, you really should. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is one of my favorite. books.
Also, why I said it, because it is one of those books that people say is one of their favorite books, and I have not read it, so I didn't know if it was based in the galaxy. It sounded like it should be, but maybe they never left Earth. Okay.
No, no, no. They definitely do.
And also, Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy is older than 1988.
If you you know the for those who've been to India, there are hawkers of books and secondhand books and pirated books on roadsides everywhere in all the major cities in India. There's a very
Mhm.
good chance that this book, a copy of this book, is there in practically almost all of them.
Very interesting. I can't think of anything which fits that bill,
No, no, you. The
literally.
moment you hear this, now you're going to go nuts. I guarantee you. The moment I tell you the name of the book, you're going to go nuts.
No, I have no clue then. Yeah, maybe another clue would help.
Okay, I think I'm rapidly running out of clues to give. Would it help if I told you that the protagonist of the book is a shepherd boy by the name of Santiago?
Is it um, The Alchemist?
Yes, it is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
Oh, you said Portuguese, and I'm thinking he's Brazilian.
Yes,
Oh
he's
my God.
Brazilian.
You're throwing me off with these nationalities so much today. I'm trying to think of a Portuguese author. Why have I not heard of a famous
I said
Portuguese author?
Portuguese language. I said it was
Yeah,
published in
yeah,
the
you did.
Portuguese language.
You did. I have nobody to blame but myself.
But yeah, so this package by Explorer X, by the way, if you go to explorer-x.com/alchemist, you will find the package I'm talking about. Aditya, unfortunately, your Europe itinerary is already booked. Otherwise, I could have suggested that you try this one out.
I'm embarrassed enough right now to just change my itinerary and just go as a mark of penance.
But yeah, so that this is a package that's been made to follow Santiago's route to the pyramids of Giza.
Again, I was thrown off because the route is Europe and Mediterranean, and you said
Yeah.
Portuguese, and I'm trying to think of a European author, and I can't think of anybody. Paulo Coelho makes so much more sense now.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you heard of the singer songwriter Paul Simon?
Yes, I have heard of him.
Okay, so he has a very famous song that is named after a dish that he saw in a Chinese restaurant, a chicken and egg dish. Which
Okay.
song is this?
I said I have heard of Paul Simon. I'm not very familiar with his discography. A
That's all right.
chicken
Yeah,
and egg dish.
it is not a song I had heard of to begin with,
Egg
but when
foo
I saw
young?
this
No, but
piece of when I saw this piece of trivia, I was like, okay, this is really fun. Uh,
okay.
All right, so let me tell you, it's a bit of a morbid backstory to the song itself, because the song's
Okay.
lyrics were inspired by a pet dog that was run over and killed. And it was the first death that Simon had personally experienced. And he began to
Okay.
wonder how he would react if the same happened to his first wife, Peggy Harper. So
Okay.
he went down to these dark thoughts,
Huh.
and he came up with the song. However, the song name came from a dish that he saw in a Chinese restaurant menu.
Chinese restaurant menu. What is a
And the dish specifically is a chicken and egg dish.
chicken and egg dish that became the name of a song? I am completely clueless. You'll have to give me something to go by because I don't know his
Okay.
song. I don't know Paul Simon songs as well as I would like. Not that I know whether I would like his songs, but chalo.
I imagine you know more of the Simon and Garfunkel songs, perhaps not the Paul
Yes.
Simon
Yeah, I'm more of
standalone
a yeah,
songs.
yeah.
Yeah, those are the more
Scarborough
famous
Fair
ones.
any
But
day.
right, right. So, but Paul Simon also has had a pretty
No, no,
solid
he's a
solo
famous guy.
career.
He's a famous, yeah. Is it like a dish named Egg Foo Young or something like that?
No, no,
And he's
it
eh,
isn't something which you would consider a very Chinese name. It's in fact a name which is using English words entirely.
no. So what I was trying to ask is it isn't a name that when you say it in when you pronounce it in Chinese sounds English and has a completely different meaning or something like that?
No,
Like
no, no, no,
Guyang would be Gru Yang or something like that. No, nothing like that. No, it's not like
no.
misheard lyrics.
No, no, exactly. Like if I was to name it after an Indian dish which had English words, it would be butter chicken, which is both English words. So
Oh, okay. So,
it's not Chinese words which would sound different. Yeah, yeah. So I'm sure that the dish has some Chinese name as well, but he read the
okay.
English name. That's what he thought was a good name for the song. Now let me tell you. So he experienced that death and he started thinking about the context of his first wife also dying and how he would deal with that. And specifically Peggy Harper, who his wife was, they had a son together, and son's name was Harper Simon. So he was also thinking of the impact, and it's almost written as a song to his son, or describing the impact of this fictional of this hypothetical situation where his wife has died and he is singing to his son, or the impact on his son.
The chicken and egg dish. Nope, man. I'm completely clueless. Completely
I wish I could
lost
give
on
you a
this.
clue for this. I wish I could give you a clue for this. I don't have any other clue to give which would lead you to the name of the dish. So I'm just going to give you the
Okay.
answer. The answer is Mother and Child Reunion. So
What?
that's the name of the song. And the dish, which is a chicken and egg dish, is called a Mother and Child Reunion because it has both chicken and egg in it. And when he read the name Mother and Child Reunion, he thought it was a beautiful song title for the song, talking about the death of his hypothetical death of his wife and the impact on his son. I think that's such a strange
Oh,
parallel to draw.
wow. Cracking piece of trivia, but I have serious doubts about his mental health right now. He sees a dish called Mother and Child Reunion and thinks about the death of his wife.
No, so he had already thought about this song and there was a context to it. He just didn't have a name to it. And when he saw the name on that menu, he was like, oh, that sounds like a great name. I'm going to use that. It just, in this context, it is a chicken and an egg being cooked together. It is a mother and the child reunion, is the mother and child being cooked together in this
Oh
context.
God. Oh my God. You know what this reminds me of? There are these internet, not, I wouldn't say memes, but there are a lot of things on the internet where you have menus from South Asia and Southeast Asia where
Mm.
translations have gone horribly wrong, especially in
Mhm.
restaurants. This
Right,
sounds
yeah.
like one of them, mother and child reunion.
Yeah, no,
And
it
it's
is
a
my pet
horrible name to
peeve.
give a dish, yeah.
And that is why I said strange name for a dish. Decent name for a song, but strange name for a dish. Because it sounds beautiful and poetic, and then it reminds me, as a lot of meat eaters try to avoid remembering the fact that what they're eating are live animals and with a whole life and stuff, which is what it reminds me of, the fact that I'm eating a, an animal
My
which
God.
gave birth to an egg and were cooked together, and that is just very disturbing. And I want to become vegetarian for the foreseeable future now.
So this is my next question to you. Theophylactus of Tusculum is the youngest ever to hold this post. He was elected at the age of 20. Could be said that it was something of a family business for him because two of his uncles, one grand uncle, and one great grand uncle had all held the post. He's the only person to have held the post more than once, and the only one ever accused of selling the post that he occupied. What post did he hold from 1032 to 1044 CE, then 1045 CE, and finally for the last time in 1047 to 1048 CE? By the way, CE also means AD. So
Can I clarify what is the name again?
Theophylactus of Tusculum.
Tusculum. Does Tusculum have anything to do with Tuscany?
I do not know. I just know that's the name of a place. Not particularly relevant to the question, so it's just his name.
Okay. No, actually, I was asking Tuscany because then I was thinking Italy and then I was thinking Pope. Would that be anywhere close to the right answer?
That is the right answer, even though you're. I'm not sure that route was right, but yes, that was a very quick crack. He
Okay.
was the Pope. He was Pope Benedict the Ninth. He was 20 years old when he became the Pope.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And he tried to sell the post. No, literally, he did. He did. And he's the only person to
Okay.
have become Pope more than once. He had two uncles who were popes, Pope Benedict VIII, Pope John the 19th. His great uncles, Pope John the 12th, Pope Benedict the 7th, great grand uncle, Pope John the 11th, and another one, Pope Sergius the 3rd. So I think that's the end of today's episode. In the sense, like I think we are out of time for more questions, right?
Yep.
So before we go, Aditya, you have a question that you owe us.
Today's questions had me very confused. So, your questions at least. So, I'm going to pose a very confusing question for our audience as well. Not that any of my other questions are very straightforward either.
No, first of
But
all, it does. You do realize that you're the one answering the question, so you making it confusing is only going to make it more confusing for you to answer.
yeah, next week I'll be struggling with this. No, let me try. This is okay. So, the question for this week is, if 50 Cent had been an Indian rapper, what is the name he would have chosen for change, as a metaphor for change?
Okay, so you heard that question here first. If 50 Cent was an Indian rapper, what name would he have chosen as a metaphor for change? I would not be lying if I told you that I'm shivering with fear at what Aditya's answer would be. But then that's for next week. Before we leave, there's the matter of the audience question that I had asked at the beginning of the episode. Lactobacillus delbrueckii subspecies bulgaricus is the principal bacteria used to make yogurt and curd. On October 18th, 2012, what designation was given to this bacteria by the Indian government? Aditya, any clues?
No, I have no clue at all. Something to do with the word dahi?
No, it was on that day that India's Minister of State for Environment and Forests, Jayanti Natarajan, announced Lactobacillus delbrueckii as the national microbe of India.
Oh, okay. That's a fun little title, I guess. Yeah, good for the
Yeah.
microbe.
Yeah, it was selected by children who had visited the Science Express Biodiversity Special, which is a train which had been visiting various stations across the country. Voting for the national microbe took place in these stations, and the children selected the lactobacillus to be the national microbe for India. There's an
Fun.
actual press release. This is not just a question. If you are in any doubt, please go to the Press Bureau of India and you will find a press release dated October 18th, 2012, declaring this bacteria to be the national microbe of India. And that's all for this episode. Thank you all for listening in. We hope you enjoyed the show and learned something new. If you liked what you heard, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It'll take you literally less than a few seconds. So please take the time and rate us. It'll help us reach a wider audience and allows more people to discover and enjoy the show. We'd also love to hear from you feedback, suggestions, trivia, sponsorships. You can reach us on Instagram at Are You Quizzing Me. We appreciate your support and look forward to sharing more episodes with you in the future. Aditya will be back for the fact check after the musical sting. But as of now, it is a bye from me.
See you guys next week. And here's the quick fact check for the episode. Tusculum is a ruined Roman city in the Alban Hills in the Latium region of Italy. And that's all for the fact check.